Hi, Corey. There's been a lot of talk recently about nuclear war, and we talked about NATO and things like that. I would not get excited about that. Don't focus on that. Don't think it's going to happen. If you are concerned about it, I have a book, a very large book that I showed you once, red cover, in the library that's in the extra bedroom. It talks about how to survive a nuclear war. If you want to study that, fine, but I don't think you have to worry about it. All you need to know about nuclear war for the time being. Now, I have a whole class on this, and we can sit down and discuss this at length when I get back. But we don't live anywhere near there's going to be something targeted. So if there is an issue at all, it's going to be from stuff called fallout, nuclear fallout. You've probably heard the term. Probably don't know what it means. Snowball is whining because I'm taking him for another walk. Anyway, nuclear fallout is if you expect or envision when the nuclear blast goes off, okay, it creates a fireball, and everybody's talked about this big fireball. And that's what creates the mushroom cloud later on. Okay, so the fireball is the nuclear explosion. Now, if that nuclear explosion, that fireball, doesn't touch the ground, if it's an air burst and it's all the way up in the air, which is what militarily most people want because that maximizes blast and thermal going down onto the ground. Therefore, it maximizes the destruction of stuff on the ground, which is why you're shooting a missile in the first place. If that fireball doesn't touch the ground, then there's no fallout. Okay? If the missile impacts the ground or detonates lowly enough that that fireball now does hit the ground and creates a crater, you know, you've seen in video games and stuff, you know, there's a nuclear crater where a bomb went off. If you waste energy creating a crater, you don't have nearly as much blast and thermal going out. So from a military standpoint, generally you don't want to do that. However, it happens by accident sometimes, or it'll happen if you in fact are trying to make a mess of the area. Because when you create that crater, when the fireball comes down and hits the ground, all of that soil and buildings and anything that's in there is vaporized, becomes dust. Anything between sand to like fine talcum powder. And that's what goes up into the mushroom cloud and eventually goes downwind and falls back down. So since we're not near ground zero where all the heavy radiation and fission particles and stuff are going to go, your issue would be the downwind fallout, like I said, anything from sand to dust that just precipitates out of the clouds based on the direction of the wind and how high up the top of that mushroom cloud went. And that's driven by how big a bomb went off in the first place. Kiloton level things that you get out of multiple launch, the multiple warhead things, they're in a 200 to 400 kiloton range. They only get not even up in the deep in the ionosphere. That all keeps coming down. That'll come out fast. The larger megaton series weapons, they'll hit the stratosphere and they can go for a very, very long distance. And in fact, some of that stuff will stay up there for a really, really long time. But you're not worried about radiation from like the crater. Okay, the crater is going to be irradiated. That's going to be a dead zone for a while. But you're not going to be near that. So your issue with the fallout is dust. Get some good dust masks. N95, go to Home Depot, don't buy the crap in Walmart. Go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get some N95 construction masks. Okay? That's what's on this one. Now it says Cool Flow because it's got that little exhaust thing here. I like those because they don't cloud up my glasses. Okay? But an N95 dust mask, you can get it without the filter if you want, just a big white cup. Preferably get the kind that's got the two head straps on it instead of one. It'll just last longer and be better for you. It'll fit better. This style is a little expensive. I think it was, you know, like $7 or $8 for two of them. It's got foam. It fits your head better, give you a better seal. Again, fallout is dust, so think of it that way. If you get a couple of those, throw them in each of your cars, just in case. Feel better, feel safer. You can use it for all kinds of other things as well, but nuclear fallout is one of those things. If you're out in it when it starts to rain down this nuclear crap, it's been equated to look like snowflakes sometimes. Get out of it. Get back in your car, get inside something, preferably like our house rather than your house, that has mass and keeps you a distance away from the fallout. If you get some on you, wash it off. It's dust, it's dirt, effectively. You don't want to breathe it, you don't want it inside you. So you don't want to breathe it, you don't want to eat it. Your eyes can be a little bit of an issue because they're wet. If you want to get goggles, that's fine. I haven't ever worried about it too much. The goal is, and understand that it takes a while to travel. So let's say something happens in Atlanta, since that's our biggest area nearby. Maybe 3 hours, maybe 6 hours, depending on how fast the wind is blowing, before that fallout even gets to you. If in fact it's even coming to you, because it depends on exactly which way the wind is blowing. But let's say it's coming towards you and you need to be safe, you know, do the right things. You've got between 3 to 4 or 5 hours, maybe, if again, depending on wind speed, to get inside somewhere and get everything battened down. So if it happens when you're at work, leave, go home, go to our place, grab some food, grab your guns, grab whatever you think you need to have, and go down into our basement. The area between the freezers and the food storage shelves, that's the area where we were going to be. That gives you the most possible shielding that we have in the house right now against anything. Now, you can't tell radiation without a radiation meter. Really, you know, that's kind of low on the priority list of things to get. Now, I may eat those words if in fact we ever do need one, but you can't tell by feel. You know, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't make you feel anything at all. So if you're getting this kind of ash stuff coming down out of the sky and there's not a forest fire in the neighborhood, yeah, it may be what it is. So again, treat it like it's dirt, like it's dust. If you got any on you, wash it off. If you've got some contaminated clothes, get some other clothes, take those off in a safe place and change into clean clothes, and then bring those down into your shelter area. Don't bring the dirty stuff in your shelter area. Leave them up near the door. In our basement, we have water right there. We have food right there. If you've got time, go up to the attic on my side and get down one of the propane stoves. Go get a big 20-pound propane bottle out of the shed. You know, get the whole camping Rubbermaid. You know, get all that stuff, bring it downstairs. You'll have time. And camp out in the basement. When we get home, if you want to talk in detail and depth about this kind of stuff, I can tell you everything I know. But it's not something to worry about. It's not something to obsess over. It's not something, you can't interface, you can't affect this. All you can do is protect you and yours. And at this point, you and yours need N95 dust masks. Okay? That's really, in a nutshell, it's dust, it's dirt. Wipe the dust and dirt off, clean it, and there's no radiation. Okay? Don't worry about the chickens. Bring Oreo with you. Don't worry about, you know, we'll deal with the animals when we get back. So I mean, there's lots of little details. But again, if they're smart enough to stay inside, they're not going to be affected terribly either. It's not going to make the water radioactive. It's not going to make the ground radioactive. There need to be some cleanup, certainly. But just think of it like dust, like soot from a fire, like snow. You know, if it gets on you, get it off of you. Don't let it get inside of you. Don't eat it. Don't breathe it. Other than that, there's really not a lot to say. On a personal level, that's really all you have to worry about. And since we're not near a target that anybody with any sense would bother dropping a nuke on, that's really all you have to worry about. Okay? So I always try to focus when everybody's running around with their hair on fire about, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, this is like, what can we do to affect it? What do I need to do to protect my family? What do I need to get something? Do I need to learn a skill? Do I need to get something and learn a skill? If there's nothing I can do, and there's nothing I can do to prevent a nuclear war at this point, the only thing I can do is prepare as best I can to take care of the family. So get inside. If you got any of it on you, wash it off, soap and water. There's nothing special. And stay away from it, which is why we have that little area in the basement. Okay? We can talk about projects to improve shielding and stuff like that, but the little place you live in is never going to be big enough nor thick enough to shield you from anything like that. I mean, nuclear radiation is a whole different story, and nobody builds for anything like that anymore. Our house is barely adequate, and it's only because we have a basement. Okay, so without belaboring the point, without going through 19 charts and graphs, and I can't teach this without having you here to ask questions and stuff. So if you're interested in it, we'll talk when I get home. And see if you feel like you need to do anything about it then. But now, get some dust masks, and then just get out of it and get back to our place. Make sure that both you and Rachel get back home. All right? Okay. Thanks a lot. And here's hoping we never have to worry about this. Okay? So, be happy.